to the Power Up. I'm your host, Tami Hill Thomas. Glad that you're joining me today so that we can equip, educate, empower, and elevate each other so that we can make a difference where we are. Let's get started. Starting with global news, our hearts are extended across the water as we consider and elevate the families of those dealing with humanitarian efforts in other countries. Sadly, a surprise attack on Israel by Hamas happened over the weekend, which brought militant groups back into the spotlight. Hamas fighters sent paragliders, they sent bombs and used bulldozers to poke gaping holes into barrier fences to gain access into Israeli territory. Israel continues to build its defenses near the Gaza border as it prepares for a ground war with Hamas. Sadly, there are so many individuals who have been impacted because of this war. And we at the Power Up need to not only share this information, but make sure that we're educated so that we can understand how we can make a difference. See, there's background to this story. Israel and Egypt imposed a strict siege on Gaza since Hamas seized control of the territory in 2007. Israel tightly controls the flow of goods and the people in and out of Gaza and maintains air and naval blockades of this territory. CNN constantly reports on this being a high issue of human rights because of the open air prison many believe it's over Gaza. More than half of its population lives in poverty and food insecurity. Nearly 80%, in fact, you rely on humanitarian assistance. Important because there are many people now who have been impacted. Think of it this way. The military has warned that more than 1.1 million civilians in northern Gaza have to evacuate southern. They had to flee their homes in order for a mass evacuation, which many thought was impossible because of humanitarian consequences. So Israeli forces are now maintaining Gaza and worried about the already civilians who have been attacked. More than 1,300 people confirmed dead, according to the World Health Organization, a viable resource where you can gain information and support countries across the water. Confirmed that Israel has also amassed more than 300,000 reservists along the southern border, but has not confirmed its intent or its plan for military operations. Family, the crisis, Gaza's humanitarian crisis is deepening with warnings of people at risk of starvation. Nearly 2,000 people killed in Gaza and 400 displaced. And the United Nations, for those who are wondering what the world is going to do to react, well, let's start with the United States. The U.S. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin in Tel Aviv has given unprecedented amount of commitment to Israel, stating this is no time for neutrality or for false equivalence or excuses for the inexcusable. Humanitarian efforts across the world continue as we also consider our brothers and sisters in Haiti who are dealing with the same type of crisis. Haiti is also facing humanitarian crisis where half of the population, 5.2 million people need both humanity and protection, with 2 out of 5 people going hungry every day. UNICEF.org is a viable resource and an entity established just to help with humanitarian aid in other countries. So you ask, Tami, why do you elevate this? Global news impacts us. Our family members, our neighbors, our co-workers have family across the water. Many of us extend our hearts to those brothers and sisters who are fleeing, who are impacted of no cause of their own, caught by war, and in need of humanitarian efforts. So, any funds you give to either UNICEF or the World Health Organization go directly to those who are medical professionals that climb those mountains, cross those waters, go through those trails to bring aid. Those who take food to those to help this horrible hunger that's happening across the land. And these are just 2 countries we're highlighting who are dealing with this type of need. We're aware of the war in Ukraine happening in right now, where those individuals also face constant need for humanitarian efforts. Individuals who are dealing with recovery from hurricanes like those in Puerto Rico, who extend great need and call for assistance. The World Health Organization, WHO.int, can give you more real-time information, statistics, facts, so that you get day-to-day, minute-to-minute updates on what's happening in Haiti and in Israel, and how you can see the efforts taking place. See, when the United States pledges to send money, they pledge to send military, they pledge to make a difference. It tends to come from your tax dollars and donations. So anything you provide can be written off. But how much more important is it to help be that one human race? Not distracted by skin color, but always ever present in thinking and reminding ourselves that if it was me, I would want someone running towards me with aid. I would want someone who has the medical knowledge to come and provide assistance to my family stuck where they are and dealing with this crisis. Family, consider how you can make a difference where you are. The Power Up is going to continue with our advocacy, with elevating information as we move into the next segment. But don't leave us. Stay tuned because there's more after this.
Hey, how you guys doing? This is Regina Hutt, the wellness practitioner at Empower Mornings. Join me every Monday at noon to work out with Regina on One Network. Hey everybody, this is Regina Hutt, the wellness practitioner on Empowered Mornings. We'd like to invite you every Wednesday night, 8 p.m., uniquely and gorgeous, to keep your mind locked and loaded on One Network.
Welcome back to the Power Up. I'm your host, Tami Thomas, excited to move forward during this month, elevating information to empower us to care and be the difference. This month, during the month of October, we take a pause to elevate the fight against breast cancer. The American Cancer Society estimates for breast cancer in the United States in 2023 about 300,000 new cases of invasive breast cancer will be diagnosed. So we wanted to bring our special guest, an advocate and survivor in her own right. The Power Up welcomes today Miss Tanya Ware. Welcome to the show, Tanya. We're glad to have you and appreciate you joining us and coming to share your story.
Good morning, and thank you so much for having me. Thank you. I am, as she stated, Tanya Ware. I'm a breast cancer survivor, 2 years to be exact. I'm also an advocate and the founder of Beautiful Survivor, which is a network of women connecting with other women through their survivorship of breast cancer as a thriver and a survivor, through a spiritual lifeline, and just connecting with one another to pull each other through.
Wow. Wow. We're so grateful that you took the opportunity to join us today and share your transparent story. First, I've got to ask this question. A lot of folks go through life dealing with illness, dealing with issues in life, and they tend to allow it to take them over. You, however, used it as a platform to propel and make change. Why? What's different about your fight?
What's different about my fight is I'm a believer that no matter what you go through, it's your attitude. It's the attitude that helps you get through any and everything that you go through in life, as a matter of fact. So, through my journey, I felt the need to share with other women what got me through. For one, attitude. I'm always wearing my hats. A lot of folks know me for my hats. And I just believe that through that journey, I was able to go through surgery, chemo, radiation. That was my journey with the right attitude, and of course with faith. I remember lying on the table during radiation, and I'll just share this with you. And I didn't know at that moment what to do because it wasn't something, of course, that I had been through before. So I started thinking about a passage. Yea, though I walk through the shadow of death, I fear no evil. And it was that passage, amongst other things, that helped push me through. I found my Zen. My backyard was my Zen. So it's those things, such as, candles, and just making sure that my peace and that my peace was protected through that journey. I was equipped with the right tools by having a nurse navigator. So all of those things that I used and that came to me through my journey that helped me get through, I felt the need to share it with others, strongly share it with others. And I've done so for the past 2 years, to be exact. Yes.
That's amazing. Your heart is phenomenal. And I personally want to thank you because it takes courage and strength to make it through a fight. But
Mhm.
it takes that much more to then stand and be a beacon of hope at a time when others struggle. Um, a lot of folks forget during Breast Cancer Awareness Month that men also struggle with this. Almost 3,000 men a year get newly diagnosed. What should we as a community and family and loved ones know that we need to be or do as a support network?
It's interesting that you brought up the fact that men go through breast cancer as well. In fact, I've met two men through my journey and my advocacy. I've personally met two men who also encountered breast cancer, and so I think we tend to forget about that it's not just a female or a woman's battle. It's a men's battle. It's a family's battle. And when I say a family's battle, I have two sons. At the time I was married, and I needed their support. But I also needed them to not be forgotten. Like, you get all of this support from friends, like, that are concerned about you and how you're doing. Check on The family too, because the family is going through that traumatic season with you as well. I didn't know how my sons would deal with it, but I was very candid. I was very open. And there were a few moments actually, though, when I went through the radiation treatment, and it scars you. And I would hide myself in the house. I would wear scarves to hide my scars because I didn't want them to see what I was really going through. But at the same time, at one point I said, okay, Tanya, take the scarves off. They have to go through this journey with you as well. Don't be embarrassed, ashamed, or hide what you're going through. The support from family is very significant, and I think that's something that we as a community have to remember.
My goodness, and grateful for support networks when we need them, right? What about the folks who have never experienced an individual who's had this type of fight? What message would you say with how, to encourage them, the community, to remain vigilant, aware, and supportive in some form?
So I'm not just an advocate for breast cancer in the month of October. I'm an advocate 24/7, 365. I believe that to receive support from others starts with you educating, because then when you're educating the community, they're aware of what happened with you, what happened with others, and potentially what could happen with them. And just to remember that we are in this fight together. It's not just the person, but as a community, the world, we're all in this fight together. So offer and extend any support and help that you can, whether it be financially, whether it be through prayer, whether it be, I received cards, I received notes, and these were from people that had never experienced what I experienced. But because I didn't hide, and there's, don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with you not sharing your journey, but it's a testimony. First of all, that's what we're supposed to do. We're supposed, when we go through, whether it be breast cancer, whether it be losing a loved one, whatever that traumatic experience is, we are to share that testimony with others so that they can be aware. But not only that, they'll remember, I'm going through breast cancer. I remember Tanya sharing her story. Let me reach out, to get information. And that's what I've been doing. So for those who've never been through it before, I would just say stay prayed up for your loved ones, your friends, or even people you don't know. It's important. Do what you can, whatever the Spirit leads you to do.
I love that because we're all able to make a difference somehow. Thank you for that, Tanya. Okay, Tanya is also a best-selling author, family. She is a #1 Amazon bestseller. Wow. I can't wait to read the book. I'm excited. But please, survivorship, right? Rediscovering yourself through the survivorship, the title of your book. Tell us about it.
Yes, this is my book. Yes, so I actually went on this journey with Angela A. Love Lewis. Love Angela. And she encouraged me to do this. I, I I never thought that I would write and share my story, but through my journey of healing, I call it my healing season, I did a lot of journaling. I love to write. And so I thought it would be great to share my story. When coming up with a title, I've been through more than just breast cancer. Um, I'm actually on my second divorce. I've been bullied. I've been through just an array, like most of us have, of trauma, childhood trauma, and things of that nature in our lifetime. So I thought that it was important to make this about more than just me. But I also extended the invitation to other women to share their story in this anthology about their childhood trauma, abuse, divorce, and breast cancer. And so it covers all areas, right? We are survivors of a lot. So I just thought it was important to not just share my journey through survivorship of breast cancer, but survivorship of many things, and for others to share their stories as well. I was so excited when this became number one, Amazon number one bestseller. Yes, that was pretty cool. And that actually has catapulted me into what I'm doing today.
Well, listen, and the best is yet to come. I can't wait to witness and celebrate what's in front of you. Anytime you're a voice for good in a world where so much is going on, it makes an opportunity for those of us to step up and with courage keep going. One of the reasons you're here on the Power Up today. So let's keep going though, because there's more to you and there's so much more to your story. Yes, there's the hurt. Yes, there's the trauma, but you're on the other side of victory. What are you doing as a speaker and a community advocate?
So what I'm doing is I'm a content creator. I have actually I've always been creative, and but this is my turn. I raised two sons over, well, they're like 21 and 25, but through that time, I was a single mother for, a number of years, and I put me on the back burner. So I decided once they finished their journey, college, etc., it's my time. It's my time for me to rediscover Tanya. And that's honestly what I have been doing. And it has been it excites me every day. It just, oh gosh, I don't know how else to explain it other than that. I enjoy being creative and sharing my story amongst other things that I've been through, that I've experienced, and stories from others. And I do that creatively through as a digital and content creator. I have been featured in 4 magazines and working on another one. So that's been part of me sharing myself, and continuing to write. I am working on becoming a freelance writer as part of my journey. So those are just some of the things that I've been doing in sharing me, honestly. And I do that through faith every day. I start my day off actually through prayer and reading a passage. I ask God to give me, equip me before I walk out the door. I ask Him to equip me so that anyone that I encounter, I'm able to be that vessel and provide whatever it is that is needed, whether that be a bottle of water, prayer, food, encouragement. That is my prayer daily before I leave. Um, so part of what I do now is that, as well as um, I just remain encouraged every day.
Awesome. Tell us about Beautiful Survivor.
Beautiful Survivor came about. Wow. So when I was going through surgery, as women, going through breast cancer, you're given a choice: lumpectomy, mastectomy. When you're especially married, you have a significant other. We're concerned about our body. We're concerned about the scars. Um, and as I was thinking about what I was going through, it was important. Like every day before I walked out the door, I put on makeup, I put on a dress, I put on jewelry, I put on a hat, whatever it was that I needed to encourage me to proceed in that, knowing that At the end of the day, you're beautiful. The scars don't matter. None of it matters. Don't cover it up. Let the world know what you've gone through. I call them my battle wounds, my battle scars, but they're scars of beauty. I want everyone to know that no matter what you go through, you are a beautiful survivor. And it's not aesthetically, that's not what I mean. It's not aesthetically necessarily the beauty. It's the beauty in your story. It's the beauty in your testimony. It's the beauty in the ashes. It's just the beauty of it all and how you come out of that. You're beautiful. Every day when I greet and meet women especially, I let them know that they're a queen. The look on their face sometimes is like, you're beautiful. You're a queen. Don't ever forget that. So that's how Beautiful Survivor was born. Yes.
Amazing. All because you wanted to pour into others. Talk about making a difference. Thank you so much for joining us and for being a change maker. Right now in this world, we need more change agents than ever before. But before you leave us, I want to ask this. You have a heart and you have a platform that allows you to help others self reflect and then move forward, empowering others. As you mentioned, there's struggles that are different than just breast cancer. There are some people that are going through a lot at one time. What would you say to someone who's in a struggle right now that just needs a word of hope?
I believe in this morning, I was given a word. This is perfect. The God of reversal. God, sometimes we go through things and we think or identify it with with the devil. Oh, everything is all about the devil. The devil is a liar. And this morning, it's interesting you asked that question because the word that I was given was the God of reversal. Sometimes we go through what we go through because we need to go through it. We need that's the whole point, the whole purpose of it is so that when we come out of it, we're able to share with others what that was, what we look like today after that. I believe that everything that we go through is temporary. Sure, it might be difficult, it might be hard. You're going to cry, you're going to kick, you're going to scream, and that's okay. Just don't stay in it. Don't stay in it. Know that as long as you walk through that thing with positivity, you walk through that thing knowing who you are, who you belong to, who created you. That's what I remember every day. That's what pushes me through all of my struggles is knowing who created me in his likeness. I can get through this. It's okay.
Amazing, amazing, amazing. Ladies and gentlemen, Miss Tanya Ware, founder of Beautiful Survivor, author of Survivorship, Rediscovering Yourself Through Survivorship. Connect with her, hear her story, and let's support her as she continues to make a difference. I do want to remind folks, listen, a diagnosis is not a death sentence. There is a statistically proven 99% survival rate when caught in an early stage. So elevate your awareness, be educated, and then take the story of Miss Ware and know that victory is on the other side. Come on, somebody. We're not giving up in the middle of this wilderness. Thank you so much for joining us, Tanya. Wow, what an amazing segment. Family, stay tuned. There's more after this.
What's up, family? It's your girl, Terry Y. Hicks of the amazing Fab Five, and I am here to tell you to tune into the Empowered Morning Show Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on the WIN Network.
Hi, guys. It's Tina Wynn, your host of the podcast, You See Me. I want you guys to stay encouraged, continue to come out and see me, and most importantly, see yourselves. Remember, the only way that you can truly enjoy life is to see other people so that you can enjoy the beauty of seeing yourself. Come join me Saturdays at 4 on the We Empowered Network. Thank you.
Life has its way of being sweet, and life has its way of being spicy.
You did not have to hit me there.
Girl, I did not hit you that hard.
Anywho, life has its way of being hard, and life has its way of being easy. Join us every second Thursday at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time,
8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time,
at the We Empower Network. Tune in to the Sweet
and Spicy
podcast. Hope to see you there.
Bye.
Welcome back to the Power Up. I'm your host, Tami. Thank you for joining the ride. We're going to now move into elevating a wonderful opportunity and highlighting equity, inclusion, and diversity. The Power Up team thought necessary to make sure that we continue to advocate and elevate information about all humankind. And the Indigenous Peoples Day was highlighted during the month of October, and we want to make sure that you're aware of its importance. There are 476 million Indigenous people around the world and across more than 90 countries. They belong to more than 5,000 different Indigenous peoples groups and speak more than 4,000 languages. Indigenous people represent about 5% of the world's population. The vast majority live in Asia, and that's about 70% of them. But there are many that are here in the United States. Remember, this is Global Indigenous People Day. We were so proud to highlight the fact that Native Americans speak more than 300 languages and impact us on U.S. soil. Now, remember, Indigenous People Day was proclaimed by the White House to replace Columbus Day. You know, when Christopher Columbus discovered the land the Indigenous people own. One of the things that the White House put in their proclamation was the statement that our country was conceived on a promise of equality and opportunity for all people. A promise that despite the extraordinary progress we've made through the years, we've never fully lived up to. That's especially true when it comes to upholding the rights and dignity of Indigenous people who were here long before colonization of America began. In the statement from the White House, as proclaimed by President Joe Biden, October 11th, 2021. Family, the United States has ownership to acknowledge our past and make sure that moving forward, we continue to educate those who are our next generations so that they understand that, first of all, that it's not okay just to take someone's stuff and claim it's yours. That was Tami, not the Power Up production team. Also, that the Indigenous people are just as valued, they are just as important, and they're federally recognized by the United States. The first newspaper in the Native American language was published in 1828. Did you know that? That there's so much history with indigenous people that they live right amongst us, our neighbors, our community, not just on reservations, but many of us come from indigenous heritage. You know, when I was growing up, they used to say, you must have Indian in your family. The answer is, I do. See, a lot of times for history buffs, when many of the slaves were fleeing, they were taken in under the protection and care of many reservations, many Native American Indians who cared about people, not color. And so many of our cultures do go back to different Native American tribes. I am proudly one of them. Indigenous people is a collective name for the original peoples of North America and their descendants. Okay? So the Constitution recognizes three groups of people, and the Indians happens to more commonly be recognized as the First Nation. Now, there are individuals who want that to be up for debate. Enjoy debating. Our job is to educate. And we dare not just gloss over this monumental day when people deserve to be recognized. Indigenous people are the original inhabitants of many areas. Their villages and territories were the first ones to be established in a particular place and were around long before modern cities, states, even countries existed. Not just the United States. Remember, globally, indigenous people existed and enjoyed their homes. So we honor them today. We honor that in the 1970s, college students took time in archaeology to make sure to go back and start pushing this recognition. So this wasn't just put on President Biden's plate to proclaim. There had been many years where there had been in North America and some in the land bridge from Asia and Siberia, approximately 13,000 years ago. These people, the first Americans, were known as the Clovis people and honored during this Indigenous Peoples Day. Listen, it's not the past that we get stuck in. It's what you do to change the future. Mistakes happen as we fall. We're human and subject to it. But in this day of diversity, equity, and inclusion, it's that much more important to take time to learn our history, get educated, get equipped so that we can empower the next generation, so that diversity becomes a normality of life instead of segregated communities, segregated churches, even segregated businesses that only cater to their kind. How wonderful it would be if my grandchildren, great grandchildren, great greats learned the melting pot approach. We all come from somewhere, so coexisting is how we win at life and move forward. Family, Indigenous Peoples Day is a great opportunity to pause and elevate, recognize the individuals who, during this land, cultivated it and taught even those coloners who came and learned how to till the land. They learned how to live off the country. They learned how to inhabit different weathers because of the education of the indigenous people. How many of us know our DNA? We know our story. Take the moment and be equipped. Many opportunities to learn your ancestry. How about going to Amnesty International and learning more about Indigenous people, about how their plight and fight and history help build America, how the things we eat and recognize from the land, honestly, were cared for before colonization. Amnesty.org takes the opportunity to elevate Indigenous people, the facts, statistics, and information you should know to educate the babies around you that will one day be grandparents of their own, so that they can then educate their grandchildren and our generations to come grow together. Amnesty International is a viable agency that steps in front of advocacy for those who might not look the same as you, but deserve their history to be shared. We at the Power Up thank our Indigenous neighbors, family members around the world. We honor you on Indigenous Peoples Day, and we thank you for your history being part of our history. See, whether you look like them, whether you know the culture, the traditions, the languages, does not limit us from respect, common courtesy, and a mission of, of wonderful life ahead. Consider how you can diversify what you're doing in your community, how you can ensure equality amongst anything that you create. Does everyone on your team look like you? Everybody in your neighborhood look like you? Does everyone on the mission you're trying to accomplish look like you? Take this opportunity to elevate, to become aware of the many different ways you impact the globe and how you can include others. Because here's the thing, you only know what you know. You're wonderful, don't get me wrong, amazing, sassy, fantastic, all that good stuff, but you are just you. So when you open your team, when you open your group, when you open your knowledge base up to cultures, traditions, a world that you've never known before, even if just with statistical information, it can make a difference. As you are now empowered to celebrate the Indigenous people, make sure that you empower others around you. Family, what a powerful day segment. We're going to wrap this show up in just a few minutes. So stay tuned. There's more after this.
Hey, it's Coach Piangel Jones from the Empowered Morning Show, and I'm reminding you to watch All Things Well 4 Thursdays right here on the WIN Network.
Welcome back, family. Wow, what an amazing segment on the Power Up today. I'm so honored to have been able to share global news. Listen, knowledge is power. It's important that we are educated and aware because your tax dollars go for something. How about knowing when the president and Congress say they're putting money towards something? Because it's ultimately your money. Global news elevated today the humanitarian crises around the globe as we extend our heart, prayers, and thoughts towards the families here that are worried about their loved ones, both in Haiti and in Israel. We highlighted the Israel attacks that sadly women and children were taken captive during. Did you know women and children? They were taken captive, and all because there's war going on. Remember, there's already a land that's dealing with hunger and starvation. And now there are individuals who can't find their family members. They don't know what's going on. Please make sure that you tap into the World Health Organization, WHO.int, to get real-time ready information on all the humanitarian efforts that are going on in Israel. My goodness, in the middle of the night bombings and kidnappings. Family, if it was you, you would want someone to care. So how about being the one who cares? Make sure that you tap into resources at UNICEF.org, who also is on the forefront of making sure that food and medical supplies get to different countries across the water, those who are dealing with humanitarian crisis. Haiti has been dealing with its own war for years and need your help. So it's not just news to say, oh, that's over there. We need you to care. Feel free to go to the World Health Organization or unicef.org. Learn, get educated, get empowered, and then elevate the awareness and the information so that folks around you care just as much as you do. Remember, your voice might seem small, but it's certainly important to others who are in other lands that just need you to make sure the world knows they need you and they exist. Family, we are one human race. Our skin, our outside might look different. We're all the same inside. Let us do what we can to elevate this global cause. We also took time today to speak to the phenomenal Tanya Ware. Tanya Ware, who is the founder of Beautiful Survivor, shared her breast cancer journey and why she is a passionate advocate. Best-selling author also. Y'all get her book, Survivorship, Discovering Yourself Through Survivorship. Taking her voice on a global stage so that individuals know whatever the struggle, not just breast cancer, but surviving the trials of life is possible. Because you're in a war, because you're in a battle, because you're dealing with the things of life doesn't mean you have to stay there. Remember, you want to be in a better place this time next year. So don't stop now. Don't get stuck. Keep going. Thank you, Miss Ware, for sharing your story, your fight, and your heart today. Founder of Beautiful Journey, get in touch with her. Tap into resources around you that can help you connect in your journey. One of the things that she mentioned was the importance of a support network. That's why she then created a support network. Family, community, all those around you can help, but you've got to tap into those resources. We do honor all those in the fight. It's a serious battle. So whatever you're going through, and those amazing men and women dealing with breast cancer right now, we stand with you. And to our overcomers and warriors, thank you for continuing to be the example of victory, that there is a through on the other side. We thank you for sharing your story, Miss Ware. We then discussed Indigenous Peoples Day, how important it is to know your history and then to honor those who might have been overlooked, or even those who need to be educated of why this day is so important. The Power Up team thanks you. Thanks your ancestors for sharing your history with the world, and for President Biden for ensuring that it's a federal, a recognized holiday. Indigenous Peoples Day is just as important as any other holiday, and they are just as important as any other people. How about take a minute, learn, get educated, and then share the information so that some young folks around you know what Indigenous Peoples Day is about, why it's so important, and why we should be grateful for our ancestors and even more so, how we can come together to go forward. Diversity, equity, and inclusion they're not just words to throw around. They're a lifestyle. It's a movement. It's something that you can do just by making sure that anything you're involved in includes other perspectives. Are there older folks at the table with you? Are there younger folks at the table with you? I often share when I do corporate training and team building exercises that if you're the only one who knows everything, your mission is as limited as your knowledge. Take time to ensure that you diversify and include others. On the show a few weeks ago, when we recognized Deaf Awareness Month, we had the amazing Tyson Haley. And he said how important it was that deaf individuals are also at the table. Life and regulations and laws and procedures impact us all. Stay mindful about how you can include others. There are ways you can that won't break the bank. They won't stop you from being amazing. They just help you make sure that you can include and recognize those who need to be in circles. Think about it this way. Your communication is great when you're speaking to someone who can communicate just like you. But what about those in other lands who might not understand what you're saying? Is your message something they can adapt? Is your message something that can change their life as well? Are you ensuring interpreters are involved? Are you ensuring that there's information outside of your norm that's considered? Removing stereotypes, removing the barriers and differences that we like to highlight, because your differences don't have to be divisive. Our differences, in fact, is what makes us stronger. Look at it this way. When you come to dinner or to the picnic, you bring something different. Everybody doesn't show up with potato salad. Otherwise, we only have one thing to eat. No, folk bring the meat, folk bring the drinks, folks bring different things. There's folks that bring games, and those wonderful folk that bring paper products because they are needed, right? Everybody is valuable. If you're the ice person, it doesn't matter. Everybody comes to the table with something different to make the moment successful. How are you adapting that mindset to your mission? Leaders, you have the power of influence. Is your team diversified? Can you tell that everyone's voice is counted? How are you getting feedback from everyone to consider so that the next strategic planning session is that much more empowered because it's considered others' perspectives? See, other perspectives will highlight things that you might not want to hear. The negative. She always finds something wrong. I hate when she comes to the table. Okay, let me tell you how much I love when folks come to the table like that. Because one of the things they're going to do is give me a list of all the stuff that's wrong. We have to embrace perspectives that might be different than ours. That is a quality of a leader. See, the coach of the Lakers, who won all those championships with Kobe and Shaq, didn't not coach and sit on the bench the whole time because he had amazing professional stars. No, his job was to find a way to bring the strengths of everyone together, to identify the holes, often what others call weaknesses, so that we could build and strengthen those as well. 5 championships later, he, the coach, celebrates. The owner celebrates. The leader, whether you're a leader in your house, of a book club, of a coaching, maybe you're a coach of a little league team. Come on, you might have started a ministry at your church. What are you doing to include other perspectives? If it's an I thing with it's about me and I'm the one who knows best, plan to see a recycle of people. Unless you have your crew, others don't necessarily buy into the mission that's single focused. There's a culture and a wave going on right now with the Me Too movement and with these youth who are starting their own marches, not telling anybody. They're going on social media saying, leave the school at this time, and schools around the country are being vacated because kids are standing up. See, voice is what it's about. So including the voices, including the perspectives, including the differences, can only make the outcome more attainable and achievable. Family, grow from others, elevate, increase from others, because you know something I don't know. Just your background alone being different will help me. I don't know how to make that dish, but hey, you're going to teach me. And now I know how to make that dish. Knowledge is power. We're all better together when we unite instead of divide. When we learn to grow instead of separate. I'll leave you with this thought today. Amazing palm trees, and they are amazing. They happen to be in the warm climates that I love and can't wait to get to soon. Nothing like a great vacation and looking at a palm tree. Palm trees just blow in the breeze. They're homes to coconuts and to other fruit in distant lands. They're also home to shade when it's hot and I just want to take that sleep, that rest on that beach. However, palm trees also take a beating when hurricane season comes. They are built to bend. And some of them can bend a whole 180, 90 degrees from where they are. Not quite 180 for my scientists. But then they recover, stand upright, and do what they were built to do. But they use what they are for the glory and the wonderfulness that they were created for. What are you using you for? You're created for wonderfulness. And life might have you bending, but you weren't built to break. You and the amazingness that's inside of you can bring other amazingness from others and be great together. Family, consider how you can help our global family members. Consider elevating all of the causes that are aware this month. Again, we thank our guests. And as always, the Power Up team thanks those who stand on the front lines on a regular basis. Our medical professionals who, when we're feeling horrible, have compassion and care for us. Those who are running into fires and emergencies when we're fleeing. Our 911 responders, we thank you. To our military and our veterans who stand on the front lines fighting for our rights to disagree and be different, we thank you. To the families who sacrifice their loved ones, who go without them just so that they can protect and serve, we honor and thank you. And we thank at the Power Up, the We Empower Network for continuing to host this platform. Until next time, stay safe, stay healthy, and stay educated.